Okay, so this is trouble. Apparently the mayor of DC is now telling people to only buy what you need, basically self-ration when you go to the store. We have seen a tide coming all year long with the food shortages. Now we've got avian flu that we talked about this morning. We've got other issues coming in with the shipping supply, and then we've got problems with urea, so nitrate or the ammonium nitrate, the fertilizer. That's going to have problems. So we've talked about all this stuff in the past. We talked about the issues with the DEF fluid, how that's going to cause more exacerbated issues with shipping and with food shortage. And then now we've got the DC mayor telling people to ration themselves because they're seeing shortened supply on the side in the stores. This is absolutely not the time to necessarily be rationing. I'm not telling you to go out and hoard and keep other people from getting what they need, but you should definitely be buying some extra food right now and be stocking up your pantry. If nothing else from the signs that we've seen, but now you've got the government. So if you don't believe me, certainly should trust your government, right? And they're telling you to stock up, even though they're telling you the opposite of that. So whenever the government tells you to ration, that's a good time to make sure that you have plenty of supplies. So I'm not telling you again, guys, don't become a crazy prepper on like doomsday preppers and get you your 35 years of food for 22 people, yet you only have 3 in your family, and the biggest catastrophe you're ever going to deal with is probably a shortened food supply issue of like 3 to 6 months, right? So but what I am saying is go back to the way that your grandmother did things or your grandfather did things, where they had a year's supply of food on hand because it was to get them through to the next year's harvest, right? This is the way that kind of how I grew up actually, but this is the way that our grandparents grew up, where they they farmed, whether it was just their own vegetable garden or they were commercial farmers. They farmed, they canned, they preserved, they did everything they needed to do to get them through to the next year. We raise our beef the same way, so we generally have about a year's worth of beef on hand, or pig or poultry or whatever it is, and that supply dwindles down, and by the time it's gone, we've got our next cow going to the butcher to go pick up again. And so we don't have in our personal house, I don't have beef all year long. I have beef about 8 months out of the year. I have pork about 8 months out of the year, and I have chicken for, we don't like chicken as much as we like the other things, so we probably only have about 3 or 4 months worth of chicken at any given time. And they're all staggered. Sometime in the year I'm eating more pork, sometime in the year I'm eating more chicken, and sometime in the year I'm eating more beef. And so it just depends on what section of that we're in and where we're at that current point in time. Right now, we're dwindling down our pork supplies. We're getting ready to really crack into our beef. I've got our bull that we talked about going in April, and so that will stock our freezer up because, again, there's the negative connotation with bulls, and so we won't sell the bull meat or the bull as beef. We'll keep him for ourselves. Perfectly good quality, and we'll actually get a ton of beef from it. Some of it will be a little bit tougher, but again, when you're grass-fed, you're dealing with that anyway, so slow cooking is the way to go. So for those of you that have purchased from us and you're getting ready to get your beef this year, just realize that your beef is going to be tougher than what you're used to if you've never had a pure grass-fed, pasture-raised animal before. It's going to be a lot more similar to like a venison steak, and then it's going to have that slightly gamier flavor, much richer flavor, and better. It's going to have definitely a lot redder meat in the coloring, and it'll be a lot richer and a lot less fat. So it'll be a lot leaner and a lot tougher meat. So you don't cook it like you would a traditional steak. Like steaks and stuff, you want to marinate or even slow cook, and then you flash sear them at the end to get that kind of charred flavor that you want from the grill. So there's a difference in how you prepare them. But anyway, I digress. The point of the video is to make sure that you guys are getting out there and realizing that we've got some food shortages coming. We talked about the bird flu this morning. We talked about all these other issues coming in, and now we've got the mayor of DC telling us, buy food, you need it. So it's just something that if you're, guys, now is the time to get ready for this next probably economic collapse coming. Do I think it's coming within the next year? No. I really don't. I know this is one point that I disagree with some of the other people that I do videos with. We've talked about this all. I don't think it's probably coming in the next year. I certainly think that that's the worst case scenario, and I'm planning for it. But I do think that we're heading towards pretty big economic collapse here over the next 10 years. And what that means, if you guys really want to go into the details, go over to Ninja's channel, Economic Ninja. He's got a great channel on a lot of that stuff. He understands far more than I do. But what that means for us more simple-minded folk, I guess, is staying ready and staying prepared and preparing yourself for all outcomes. That doesn't mean I don't tell people, don't sell all your 401k and go buy a bunch of, beans, bullets, and ammunition, or beans, bullets, and gold. But certainly you should have those things in your portfolio, right? So storing value in things that actually are value. The next video we're going to do, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm actually heading out right now to go shoot it. Is we're going to talk about building a food forest. And Mandolin and I just ordered a bunch of new plants and trees. We've got a bunch more coming here in February and March. So, and that's one of the goals for our farm here, is to get our food forest developed. And those take time. Trees don't just start producing the year you plant them. And a lot of times if they do, you want to pull those off and allow them to spend some time on growth. But anyways, we're going to be talking about how we're going to better our food forest here and what we're planning on doing. And so I'm going to take you guys on a farm tour. Again, I'm going to go shoot it right after this, but the video will post tomorrow, and we'll show you how we're developing that. You can do this on a quarter of an acre, on a half acre, on a subdivision. You can build these food forests too, and that's what we're going to show you how to do in this next video. So stick with us tomorrow, and we'll show you the solution to this. I really appreciate you all watching. Remember, like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this around, specifically the one tomorrow on how to build this food forest. This is really important stuff, so we'll get that going to you.